The Huskies stormed back big in the second half to win the Phil Knight Legacy Championship. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Slasher U. I'm your host, Christian Rao, here with my co-host, Steve Feck, and we're going to break down UConn beating Iowa 86-79. This was a fantastic game. Number 3 versus number 9. Now, UConn stays number 3. Iowa did move down to number 10 in the new rankings. UConn looked fantastic in this one, Steve.
No, they did. And it's their third win of the season versus a top 10 opponent. So that says an awful lot. You know what's kind of bumming me out, and I know that we did it in our preview and we've talked about it a little bit. Every story, every pregame thing, on TV talks about, UConn's doing it without All-American guard Paige Beckers. And yes, it's true. But what's unfortunate about it is that this team has demonstrated at this point. You could say that in game 1 and game 2. Now, at this point, they've demonstrated they're more than just a single player, and they are a dangerous, multifaceted team. So I know I'm going to make a point of trying not to bring it up as much because you can't change it. Though it's always great to see, Paige coming off the bench, on the breaks and cheering her teammates on and trying to share whatever wisdom that she has. But this ended up being kind of a story of 2 star players that did, pretty well, but in different halves. Caitlin Clark of Iowa, she's shown brightest in the first half, and AZ Fudd really took control in a lot of ways, in the third quarter and finished with 24. But the real story of the game, the real star of the game is Aaliyah Edwards. She locked down Iowa Santa Monica Sonano. And, she's been certainly dominant in almost every game she played. She held her to 8 points. And then Edwards put up 20 of her own. Yeah. She had 6 assists. She had 13 rebounds. An amazing performance in this. I think that really made the difference because when they couldn't really go to Zanotto, in the inside game, I think everything became too dominant on the perimeter, and that just kind of played into Connecticut's hands. UConn also made some nice adjustments in the second half, I think, and where they were able to kind of control the breaks and the transition better in the second half than they did the first. And I don't think Iowa really made a similar adjustment of their own to try to find a way to still kind of press the ball up court. But a stat that I was unaware of, but it's kind of cool, is that Nika Moole had her 3rd straight game of 10 assists or more. She had 13 on Sunday, and that hasn't been done in the UConn program since 1995.
Wow.
If you think of all the guards, that are in the program, but having 10 assists in 3 or more in 3 straight games hasn't been done since 1995.
That's impressive. Going back to Edwards real quick. I mean, this is 4 out of their 5 last games now with a double-double. She only missed Texas, the only one that she didn't get a double-double, by 2 rebounds. She would have had that. She's 11th in the country in rebounds. She's 27th in the country in field goal percentage. She's really stepping up and being a big asset on this team. Now, I know that you are huge on Caitlin Clark. You think that she's one of the most exciting players, and I agree with you as well. But AZ Fudd is it for me. I mean, she is so fun to watch. Every time I get the opportunity to sit back and watch her play, I am in complete awe. And no different in this game right here. She's now 5th in scoring in the country. And I am excited to see her continuing on. She's only a sophomore out of Arlington. I'm really looking to see what she's got next. 24 points in this one. She had 32 in NC State and Texas. So, I mean, she's averaging almost 30 points against the 3 ranked opponents UConn played. She's really putting this team on their back when they need it the most against these ranked opponents. And I am really excited to see what's next for this UConn squad. And obviously Fudd's leading the charge. I know I don't want to keep bringing up the Beckers thing as well, just like you said, but when I think about Fudd and how great of playing she thinks, I just can't help to think to how amazing it would be to have both of them playing guard.
Oh, yeah.
However, Fudd is doing it. And there is no doubt in my mind that this team is screaming Final Four potential, and you have to put at least Final Four on this squad. They look so good, and I am having a hard time right now finding a team on their schedule that can beat UConn.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't have the schedule in front of me, but yeah, I mean, certainly the way they're playing. You know what really impressed me about Bud? She really had a bad first half. Well, not bad, but it wasn't the caliber of play that we're used to seeing from her. And for such a young player to kind of shake that off and come out in the second half, and control things. I mean, that just speaks volumes to what she can bring to this team. I mean, she showed her teammates in a game like this. Okay, I had a bad first half. Don't worry about it. You can still get me the ball. Don't hesitate. I know I'm young. I'm still learning, but hey, get me the ball. And then the other thing I take away from this game, and I know the people that follow us, our recaps and previews of UConn games, were critical of my saying that the team is not very deep whatsoever. And I don't know how, Oriema is going to be able to rotate enough players in. They shut me up on that one too. I think they've proven, that they can go at least 10 deep, and still not really miss anything. So, I mean, good for UConn. It's good for women's college basketball when you have got a good UConn team, a good Stanford team, a great South Carolina team, and then you've got teams like Iowa and Creighton, and even like the smaller mid majors like Drake, and South Dakota State, and schools like that are putting up some nice performances.
Yeah.
So it bodes well. I can't wait to see what the ratings are going to be for this year's women's tournament. Even though the games are limited for the most part to ESPN, I bet you that they're going to be setting some records. I think for ratings throughout, especially in the Final Four. I think this is going to be a special year for women's basketball.
I sure hope that's the case. As for UConn, they finished the month of November 5-0. They do have a bigger schedule in the month of December, 8 games in the month of December. The second, they're going to take on Friday night, they're going to take on Providence, who's not ranked, but they're 6-2, a really tough team. And then they go right back into it with another ranked matchup. Sunday on the 4th, Jimmy V Women's Classic, Notre Dame. Number 7 in the country right now against number 3 UConn. That's going to be an electric game. We'll be sure to have you covered here on the recap show with that one. We definitely will have that one covered here. I really love this UConn team, Steve. And, at first, the beginning of the season, I was worried. I was skeptical because of all the injuries. We were told in the comments that they've overcome so much, and it made us look a little more into it. Obviously, what happened last season. They've overcome so much already so far this year. I just can see them doing it again. And as I mentioned before at the beginning of this episode, I think this team is at least a Final Four team. And even though I'll even go one step ahead, they do play South Carolina in February. I still don't know if there's a team on this schedule that can beat these Huskies the way they're playing right now. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. While you're there, hit like and subscribe. And thank you as always for watching SlasherU.